We are live. We are direct. She leads, she sells with Janet Bernstein, who is keynote speaker, visibility strategist, helping women and organizations reclaim their confidence, visibility, and presence without burning out. In her company, she's the chief glow strategist at Let Her Glow, helping women step out of the shadows, stepping into full visibility, embodiment, so the internal reflects the external. Also, you may find her in her new publishing house, helping women, thought leaders, speakers, creatives to turn their message into a book. You might find her on Ticker News. You might find her on NBC. Good Morning Texas. Wonder Woman herself. Welcome. She leads, she sells to Janet Bernstein in the building. Speak to me.
Thanks, Jay. I'm so excited to be here.
Amazing. Wow.
That
Let
was
me know.
epic. That was epic. I loved that. That was so great. I'm so honored to be a part of this show today. I love
No,
it. Love what you're
100%.
doing.
Let her glow. You glow, Janet. You definitely glow. Speak to me. Tell me who you serve. Who's that ideal person for you? Like that you love to get visible. Tell me more.
Yeah. So I love working with women who know that they are meant to do so much more than they're already doing. A lot of the women that are drawn to me are the ones who feel like they are the best kept secret in their industry. Like nobody knows who they are. They don't know what they do. And they're constantly second guessing themselves. What should I post? How do I show up on social media? All the things. And so those are the women that I'm really drawn to help because I see the brilliance, I see the potential, I see the glow. And sometimes those women just need a little push when it comes to the visibility.
100%. What are these people at six figures already? Five figures? Are they new? Like, because sometimes we can help everybody. Like, we got the skills, we can help everyone. But sometimes there's that person that, if we give them a little, that can, create the asymmetric change.
I think it's a great question, Jay. We can't help everybody, but I will tell you, women across the board struggle with this, whether they're making, three figures or whether they're making seven. I see it everywhere. I see women who are running corporate teams and organizations who have amazing titles and impressive resumes who still don't really know what they should be posting on social media. So I don't think that this comes down to a salary cap or an income gap. I think it really is a confidence gap. It's knowing what you're meant to share and how you're meant to share it, and then doing it. We see a lot of people talk about cringe, right? I love that you have Mel Robbins' book on your shelf, the Let Them theory, right? She talks a little bit about like when you show up on social media, it might feel kind of cringe. And there's going to be a lot of people watching you and saying, oh, what is she doing? What is he doing? Right. But that's not any of our business, right? Because somebody out there is meant to hear that message that we are here to share, right? So sometimes we have to overcome that cringe. So I don't think it matters how much money you make, but how do you feel when you open up social media and you've got to go make a post? Are you confident? Are you excited? Are you scared? Right? Because those are the things that you should be tapping into, not how much money is in your bank account or what you're bringing home.
Amazing. Well stated. What does it look like in terms of results? I mean, we're in a results business. I think this trust recession is only going to get worse with more AI
Sure.
and things like this. Just to confirm, this is not an AI person. I'm real. Like you might have thought, okay, is this Jay's AI? Is it his AI clone conducting this while he's chilling in London? Having some tea in London. I'm real. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. But yeah, um, I guess the question is results. Like, what are the results that you get people? Like, give some examples, please.
yeah. So some of the women that I worked with, the results that they are most proud of are posts where they actually showed up and said something that felt authentic. Something that they put out there that maybe a year ago they wouldn't have posted. But also the results that they value most is that somebody reached out to them and cited something that was in that post. I think that is probably the number one compliment when I'm looking at my own social media reach, because I don't chase vanity metrics anymore. I don't chase the likes and the follows, and those things are nice, but that's not what tells me that my posts are hitting home, right? If someone reaches out to me though and sends me a message and says, "Oh my gosh, I love that you wrote about this," that tells me that I'm doing the right things and I'm connecting with the right people. And honestly, if these women would just focus on who they need to help, who they need to talk to, that takes a lot of the guessing out of what you're supposed to post. Because it's not about, I need to post for reach or I need to be famous or any of those things. It's, who do you need to help today? Who needs to hear your voice? Who needs to hear your wisdom? Who can you pour into, right? Because if just one person reaches out to me and says, "Oh my gosh, your post really changed the way I think and it really helped me," then I feel like I've done it.
Yeah, I bet you clearly have embodied, and that's what I like about your work and your essence. It's we hop on, see you, and you've embodied the person that gets visible and, is always looking to connect, is always looking to grow. And, that's what I admire about you, Janet, in that respect.
Thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. And it means a lot to me to hear people tell me that, because, this work was not always that easy. There was a couple of years there where I hid online. I did not post. I did not show up, because I wasn't really proud of where I was at, and I felt like I wasn't doing the things that were true to me. And so in this new season, it's not about just posting all over social media and saying, be visible, post the things, do all the things, right? That part is great. But the part is, if someone gets on a call with me or they meet me at an event, here in Dallas, I want them to be like, "Oh my gosh, she's real. I love that." Right. And that's another reason, right? If we want to talk about AI, I mean, yes, AI is a great tool and I use it to organize a lot of things and automate a lot of tools. Those things are great. Right. But also, we do need to evaluate, which parts of AI we're using and for what, because our voice needs to be powerful online. And sometimes our stories are what really need to speak for ourselves.
You said the key thing there is like we use it, sparring partner. It's like, okay, psst, psst, okay, pa, 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 psst. Sparring partner, it's their structure, but the stories must come from within.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And AI doesn't know your stories.
Mm.
That's the other thing too, in working with in women, helping them develop a content plan. A lot of them will run all this stuff through AI, through Chat GPT, and they'll come up with these things. And we'll read through them and I'll say, okay, I'm like, this is a good starting point. But I want to know the story that AI doesn't know, right? If you
Mm.
say, "Hey, this breaks my heart," because I want to know the story. Why does it break your heart? Right? I have one amazing client who is in the financial advisor industry, which is very noisy. There's a lot of people in the financial world, and they're all kind of trying to break through and reach their potential clients. And the first time that she and I really dove into her work and what makes her tick, she said that a lot of what motivated her early on was watching her mom struggle with finances. And she was 10 years old and helping her mom through this. And she said that that's a lot of the reason why she grew up to be a financial advisor, is because she wants to make sure that women aren't alone in that decision-making process and that they have someone to guide them that's trusted. And I said, you absolutely have to use this messaging. Right. And so if you run this through chat, hey, how can I reach my best clients who are women? Chat has no idea what that story is. They do not know what you've come from, what you've overcome. They cannot create emotion that comes from a story they don't know. So you have to share those stories, because once we hear them, now we're thinking, oh, I want to do business with that person, or, oh, I trust that person, right? Because that's what is formed after sharing those stories.
Thank you for sharing. Visibility, we move into next. How do you get?
Oh.
Yeah. So, how do you getting visible to your prospects so you can connect with them and book calls with people who are ideal for you?
Yeah. So, It's no different in my business than it is really in anybody's business. You have to show up in the space. You have to speak out on important things that these people need to hear, but you've got to give value, right? And that's probably my number one tip for anybody that's wanting to connect with future clients is what are the things that they're already struggling with? How can you help them? And then are any of those things that you can fill, any of those gaps that you can fill? So what are the things that you help them with? And then how can you serve them now? Right. So showing up on social and not saying, hey, I'm amazing. Here's all about me, but more of, hey, if you're struggling with, right, hit a pain point, but then share some real value. How can you pour into these people now instead of waiting for them to become your client? Right. And that's who I just try to serve everybody every day. If I just show up and do something, some of them will become clients, but some of them I will help them and I may not ever know that. And that's okay.
Yeah, I'm a big one for yes lives in the land of no. That we can't jump in the water and not get wet.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree.
Sales. I mean, it's a bit of a taboo word with women. It's like sales, and then all the connotations start coming. What does sales mean to you, and how do you deal with, I cannot afford it? Like, how do you get the deal over the line?
Yeah, so I was in sales a long time and I used to teach sales for all different industries. And the objections are all kind of the same. And ultimately, all objections lead back to one objection, really. And it's not money. Everybody thinks money is the objection. It's not. The objection is always, I don't trust you yet. And so if you can try to overcome that objection, then the other ones do become easier. Because if you really want something, you really want it, you're going to make a way. You're going to jump through the hoops. You're going to find a way. You're going to find the money. Whatever it is, you will make it happen. But if you do not trust that person or that brand or that business or whatever it is, you're not going to make a way and you're going to make up other things like, oh, the timing's not right. Oh, it's just not it's something I can afford, right? Replace I can't afford it with it's not a priority. And that's closer to the truth, right? So sales to me, the definition of sales is just serving a client, right? So if someone is looking for something and they need help, if you offer that, you tell them, hey, by the way, this is what I do. If they decide they like you, they trust you, they will find the money to do business with you. Now, we're not meant to work with everybody. Not everybody is our customer. You don't go into a retail store that sells $1,000 suits and ask for, a cheap tie. You only go to where you want to shop, right? And the same is true with our customers. So if someone is looking for a cheap, easy solution, right, they might need to start elsewhere. They might need to have a DIY kind of thing where they're on YouTube and they're watching videos and they figure it out. And I'm all about it. I'm very resourceful, right? I built my own websites and I did a whole lot of my own stuff for a long time. Just because I was very motivated to learn. But before I can ask somebody to do something for me, I need to know what goes into it. Right. So not everybody's meant to be our customers, but we also have to be okay with saying, hey, I have a service and I'm worth every penny. And if you want to do business with me, let me know. Right. And I'm okay with some people saying you're not for me. That's great. Let's move on and I'll find the people that are.
That's a brilliant answer. I really enjoyed that breakdown there, because not everyone is going to be our customer for sure. I think you mentioned that sales is trust transference. Tell me the top 2 or 3 ways to get trust.
So number one way to build trust is give away value without anything in return. So if you see someone struggling with something that you can help them with, just send them a message and say, hey, I was on your social media and I noticed you struggle with this. You mentioned this. Here's an idea that might work for you. Give value without expecting anything in return. It's the number one way to build trust. And I do this all the time. Right? There's a lot of ways that people can work with me in a paid sense, but I will reach out all the time and say, hey, I see you're working on a book. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a book coach. Here's an article I recently wrote that might help you. Right? And I'll just send it to them. Now, there's no expectation of anything. They might do business with me in the future. They might not. They might become a friend. I have no idea how that relationship is going to evolve. So number one tip is to just give away with nothing expected in return. And then number two is just be authentic in everything you do. Right? So how you show up online is how you show up in person. The things that you say, what you believe, everything needs to come out in an authentic way so that there is no lack of trust. Because what I see a lot of times is someone will post something on social media and say, this is who I am, right? And then you meet them in real life and they're nothing like that, right? So you've got to show up, be 100% authentic all the time. And that's another way to build trust.
What's the big plan for 2026 for you?
The big plan is to try to inspire as many women as I possibly can. Whether it is to write books, get on stages, start posting more. And this is whether or not they become my client. I firmly believe I can help so many women, even if they're not my clients. I am gearing up for a big event at the end of the year where I'm going to bring women together from all different walks of life and speak a lot of love into anybody that's in that room. But all the conversations that happen leading up to that event are going to be equally as explosive, right? So if someone finds me on social media, I want them to be inspired. If they come and work with me in a workshop, I want them to leave inspired. So that's really the goal, is just to light as many fires as I can so that I can see all these women glow.
And that's your company, right? In terms of Let Her Glow. What arrests your development? I mean, we're human and we all have the primal brain and things like this. So what voice stops you on occasions from taking action?
Yeah, I think we're all human, and we all struggle with something. And I think in order to be really powerful in whatever your purpose is, you've got to be self-aware about what those limitations are and what is going to knock you down. So for me, and I've been very vocal about this in my recent book, but also in a lot of my posts. I talk about I struggle with burnout. I struggle with going really hard and showing up everywhere and going to every event and being everything to everybody, and then I crash and burn, and then I have doubts. Right? Then I have that same internal dialogue that probably everybody watching this or listening has, which is, you knew better. You should have listened. You should have paid attention, right? And I often say, if we don't slow down, our bodies will probably do it for us. And so I struggle with that still all the time. And it's no different from when I had a corporate job and I did it there versus working for myself and doing it here. So I have to take extra steps to take care of myself, my voice, my energy, make sure I'm taking breaks. I take Friday afternoons off most weeks now, and that's something that I don't know that I should be doing that every Friday, but it feels really good. So for now, it feels good. And it's one of the ways that I'm sort of just taking care of myself. So just paying attention to what slows us down, because those are usually cues.
Amazing. Who would you like to connect with, and how can they find you? Best place to find you.
So best places to find me are Facebook or LinkedIn, and you can search Janet Bernstein or Janet C. Bernstein. Find me on those platforms. I post pretty much every day on those two platforms. So if you are looking for inspiration or ideas on how you can show up more visible, get seen, stop being the best kept secret, I post a lot of content around that. I also have a blog that I pour a lot of love into that is going to get a new glow up for 2026. But anybody who's listening or watching this, if you know you are meant for more, your voice is meant to spread further and wider and you need to reach more people, come and follow me, engage with me. I connect with everybody that reaches out. I will respond to every message. I want to hear your stories and I would love to chat with you.
That is amazing. Tick off the bucket list, meeting the Wonder Woman today.
Yay!
Thank you so much. She leads, she sells. Let her glow. Janet Bernstein. That's it. Over, out.